All right, there we go. Starting to fill up a little bit now. Good to see you guys in here tonight. Big D checking in. Scott Stefano with us. Moises, as always. Good to see all you guys, man. Hey, this is Crystal Cycle Source Magazine, and we are getting ready for another episode of Torque Performance. 3 minutes out. 3 minutes, we're going live. That's just enough time for you guys to hit the like and share button. Get something cold to drink, sit back and relax. Jason and John are getting ready to have a killer show. Keith Kronoff in the house. Sally Culp Hallman. I recognize that last name. Torch going live in 2.5. Stick around. All right, Bruno Coppola in the house with us. Nancy Weems, good to see you here. Everybody's ready to get our motors running. 46 seconds. I guess that's enough time. We've been waiting long enough. Let's get this episode of Torque Performance started. Here we go.
Oh, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Is John there? Hello, John.
Yes. What's going on?
I feel like I've been around the world and I can't find my baby. Everything right now is discombobulated and disjointed as it could possibly be in the last week. I feel like we did this 2 weeks ago, not a week ago, and then sometimes I feel like it's yesterday we did this again. I've filled up this entire week with as much traveling as one can want to do. I started on Wednesday with a 14-hour drive to Tennessee for the Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival. And if you haven't been to that event, dude, it is bananas how much bigger it's gotten in just from one event to the next. And then Thursday, we did the live show, you and I, and then Friday, I had one day down, and every time I saw Chris and Heather, I would run the other way because they were actually relaxing and doing something like together, like a couple. And so I went down to the river, and they're running in the river with their dogs, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to bother them now because if Chris sees me, he's always trying to hang a lavalier microphone on me, like, hey, let's just do a bit, let's go talk here. I'm like,
why don't we go?
Yeah, and then I saw, and I dodged him there. I went and said hi to him, and then dodged him there, and walked around and did my shtick, go and see this person, that person, and then I was walking out of my trailer walking up the hill, and I see Chris and Heather on their chopper riding up the hill, and I'm like, okay, so I'm not gonna bother them now. And then when we went to, they had their party. They always feed everybody at least one night when we're traveling, and everybody was at their HQ there, their mobile HQ, and he was trying to hang a microphone on me, and I'm like, man, just relax, it's your party. You know, he's so funny because Chris is the hardest working person that I've ever met in my life, and I thought I've met some hardworking people. So here we are back Thursday night live in the Shine Werks Studio, and we've got a bunch of things going on this week, John.
What was your favorite bike there
at TMMR?
Yeah, if you had to pick one.
So there was a guy, Brandon Keene, built this little chopper, and it was just some of the clever stuff on it was bananas. And then Hawk Lachey was there with both of his bikes, his long bikes. Do you know who Hawk Lachey is?
Yes.
Have you seen the blue bike in person?
I haven't, but I'm not a long bike guy. You know what I mean?
Listen, it doesn't fit the demographic of anything that you and I do, but this guy, I don't know if he eats cow patties and then builds bikes or what, but this bike runs and all of the internal engine components are exposed, and he had it at TMMR, and it's dusty there. It was mind blowing. The guy, he kept walking back over to his bike in the barn like every hour or so with one of them magic dusters. And he's such a nice guy, man.
Yeah.
I would like to see what a guy like that would do with a performance chassis, you know, a big motor, and you know, because his stuff is very artistic. So
even like a Pro Street FXR, like I think that would be a good transition for a guy like that.
Absolutely, and I'm starting to see more of the Pro Street stuff coming back. So
I got a Kenny Boyce with a 113 in it.
You do?
I do. I brought it home from Florida.
I used to have a Kenny Boyce Pro Street with a 114 Axtel mountain motor. That thing was ridiculous. Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. It had a 5-inch Carrata belt drive. It was it was fast.
Made another guy can load it in the truck.
Oh man. I you know, it's kind of one of them ones I'll eventually have in my collection, but I've got enough. I have enough motorcycles right now. I don't need any more motorcycles.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get another one.
Are you? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. We'll have to wait, John.
I know. Yeah, official announcement coming soon.
Yeah. So speaking of official announcements, you had a busy week too. So tell me a little bit about because I was at 2 events. You did one.
Yeah, we had a bike night. We're going to be doing 3 of those this summer. That was the first one. We had a little over 200 bikes show up throughout the day. We had Saddleman, Electric, Clockworks, Lexan, and Hofmann Designs sponsor the event. Absolutely killer. The wheelies got a little out of hand.
I saw some of the wheelie videos. We're gonna have to.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't put them on Torquegram because you didn't hashtag it.
I hashtagged the one. I got like 50 hashtags. I got to learn to keep using that one.
Yeah, you know, I keep forgetting. We've got because we have such an incredible producer of our show. He's got a picture of that bike that you asked me which bike I like. That one there.
There we go.
And so what's really cool about this? Several little like really clever things he did, but underneath the transmission on the right hand side, he has he mounted all of his electronics there in a really neat aluminum panel with resettable circuit breakers and stuff. It's just, you know, I like it when people like do things. You can kind of see it under the trans. If you look into the trans, there's a billet plate down there.
Yeah, I see it.
And you know, the bike, it was very crafty. He did a great job. There's Michael Lichter shooting it. He was there too. That was really awesome.
That's pretty cool.
This event is really, dude, there was a V-Twin Visionary performance show there. I mean, it's turning into, it's not just a chopper thing. Look at the trees on those, John. Oh, there you go. There's a picture of the oil lines, the way they're routed. I mean, it's very, very clever. Very clever. I did that stuff. So
that is really clean.
But that's an event that, I mean, it can only get bigger. It can only get bigger. And of course, our own family, Cycle Source Media, or Source Media rather, Cycle Source Magazine. I don't know if did you get any feedback on the event that they announced? Did you see the event that they announced?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, within seconds of that being posted. That I mean, the little whisper, I mean, it was a pretty clever post. I think like 10 or 12 people DM'd it to me. I went to tag Willie from Willie's Tattoo because I knew every time I see him, he talks about the smoke out. So I went to tag him, and he already commented on it. Hell yeah! So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's that thing spread like wildfire.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about that. That's going to be a great event. And that's the event.
It is.
Back in, that was the event that I went to every year and slept on a park bench. And
any inside track on that? Do we have a date or a location yet? Because people are asking me, and I'm like, I don't know yet.
I would say that we have a date and a location, but I would say that we can't share that yet. But I'll have to.
Soon.
Yes, it's going to be 2022. We've got, all the evacuations we got. I mean, it's not like Chris is doing anything. So, but he's going to announce very soon when, where, and all that stuff. And I'm telling you, it's going to be bananas. I'm super excited about it. What else you got going on? You got a giveaway for us this week, don't you? This is the first.
Electric Cycles reached out to me about doing a giveaway for a $250 gift card for their website. There you go, right there. So short, 4-day weekend. Pretty much, you follow Electric Lighting, follow Hardcore Cycles, tag 3 friends, share the post in your story, and you're entered. $250 for LED lighting.
Of LEDs. That's a pretty decent amount of LEDs from Electric.
Yeah, and people are like, you don't need LED. Like, if you're gonna drive fast, you need to see better.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but were you ever a snowmobiler?
No, I did. So I lived in the Poconos. My house bordered like a state forest.
Right.
I would get snowed in, and I'd see snowmobilers go by, fucking torture me. You know what I mean? So I went out. I bought a snowmobile. It snowed 3 inches in 3 years in the mountains. So I had a snowmobile, and I had like 33 miles on it in 3 years because no fucking snow.
Well, I was an avid snowmobiler for many, many years. It was what I did in the wintertime in Michigan. And they teach you, one of the things they teach you is about overdriving your headlights. And I know it sounds silly.
Yeah.
But it's logical if you think about it. It's just a matter of how much, how bright the light is, the correct color of the light, because that's the one thing that I will tell you about electric lights is that the color is different. And when you have it next to, I'll tell you this, on my 16 lowrider, I put the switchbacks for the front with the running light. Yep. They're brighter than my headlight.
Yeah, so I have on my Road King, I have electric front and rear with the smoke lenses. Even with the smoke lenses, they're brighter than a stock headlight. And then I have their 7-inch buckshot headlight. Yeah. And it's insane at night. Yeah, I look at me and people flash at me, but like you said, you can't go faster than what your headlight does.
Well, and I want to be seen. At the end of the day, I want to be seen. So
yeah, absolutely.
So they go to Electric Lighting. They follow Electric Lighting.
Yeah.
They follow Hardcore Cycles.
Cycles.
They tag 3 of their friends, and then share it in your story.
Share it in their story.
Oh,
done.
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, that sounds easy.
All right, I got to ask you a question because I'm looking at the outline for the show, and this is on your bullet points. What is this? I got a package from Brian Clock, one of our sponsors.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
It's got the Clockworks logo here, the Hardcore Cycles logo here. So, what am I holding in my hand here?
That is the official Skinny Tire Bagger Build Off dry erase board.
Okay, so that what I understand is if you want one of these, if you're building a bike for this, you want one of these. We just need to know who you are and how do we get these to them?
It's going to be free from Clockworks.
Okay.
So basically, what we want to do is as we build these Skinny Tire Baggers. So a Skinny Tire Bagger is 08 and earlier.
Okay.
With a cap of $15,000 total on the build.
That includes the purchase of the bike.
Purchase of the bike.
What if you already have one? You had one for a long time. Do you assess any kind of dollar value to it, at least like a book value or something?
we haven't had that come up. Most people have gone out and bought $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 bikes.
Okay, so figure
And
$5,000.
then
If you're going to be fair, figure $5,000 on that.
figure $5,000. You know.
All right, so they need to
So
with you. So they're going to hashtag the STBBO, right?
yep.
Probably tag Clockworks,
STBBO.
tag Hardcore Cycles.
Yep.
Post the pictures of their build. This
Yep.
right here is going to be a build sheet for them for all intents and purposes.
Correct.
With their bike, and this
So they hold that up. You know, so yeah. So if they did a chain conversion that week, you know, they write down, you know, chain conversion $429.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Hold it up. You know what I mean? Clockworks flare. You know what I mean?
Right.
$186.
This is going to be. So the next bagger build off is at Sturgis on Monday at the Hardcore Cycle Show at Buffalo Chip, right?
That is correct. That is correct. And in fact, the guest that we're talking to a little bit later, he judged the last skinny tire bagger build off in Daytona.
Very good. Very good. Hey, did you see this?
Whoa. Dude, how do I join the Cool Kids Club?
Got some swag coming for you, buddy.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, these are courtesy of a guy that I actually used to work with here in the motorcycle industry that used to work for one of the drivetrain companies. He's got an apparel company now. So if we're going to have some really nice apparel. So we're going to have coaches jackets and branded coaches jackets too. Nothing cheap. T-shirts, racerback shirts for girls.
Yep.
Proper snapback hats, and then we'll even have some socks. So, and we're looking at. I've got one other cool thing that we're going to try to bring back, but once I have that, I want confirmation that we have that one coming because it's going to be kind of cool. Something that people haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be plenty kitchen.
The socks is a cool idea.
It is like I'm a nerd, so I'm a shoe sock guy. We talked about that.
So Legends gave away socks at a dealer ride a couple of years back.
Right.
It's like a coveted piece of clothing in my house. I have no idea why. So I think I had 3 people or 4 people on the dealer ride. I got all 4 pairs of socks in my size, and I love the fucking things. I don't know why.
It's just kind of a weird thing, right? Yeah.
It is. It's cool.
I was flexing,
you know.
I was flexing with my SNS socks.
Yeah, I have SNS socks too.
The other day.
they gave it to me. I bought like a T-shirt, and they threw like 3 socks in there. I was more excited about the socks than I was about the T-shirt.
Yeah, Nancy Weems over here. She's saying flip-flops and socks. No, dear, no flip-flops and socks. I will wear socks and Crocs though. I'm not gonna lie. If I've got to go to the mailbox,
that's a Florida thing.
That's
a Florida thing. Insert Florida joke here.
Yeah. So what else do we got on our list here? What else do we got here? Let's see.
I want to ask you about the Bagger Racing League and the Shine event.
Yes, the Bagger Racing League Bench Racing Bonanza. So for those of you that don't know, I was blown away. So I get a call from the Bagger Racing League. They want us to go out there, help them do some press. They're looking for people that are interested in what they're doing. And we certainly are here at Torque Mag. And so we went out there and I get the address and it's 718 West Anaheim, Long Beach, California. And I'm like,
you went in the nerd building.
That's the old West Coast Choppers building. So I really didn't know what to expect. I go out there and I have to tell you, dude, it looks like the place that Tony Stark is going to build his next flying suit. They have changed it. It still has the essence. And when I was in there, I was talking with
the gate. Is the gate
all that's gone. Anything West Coast Choppers is gone. If you didn't know I take it back. There's one thing that's West Coast Choppers. It is. Shitter. Did you see it? I didn't give Chris pictures because I was trying not to be crass, but since you brought it up, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone so you can see what it looks like. But so they took all the web stuff down, like none of that exists anymore. They sandblasted the inside of the building, outside of the building. And I when I was there, I was talking with Buster, who is one of the guys over at Saddleman. He's been there for a long time. And here we go. Let me see if I can get this up in front of it. There you go. There's the toilet seat, right? Yep. There's the toilet seat on the outside, and then
I saw you post that somewhere.
No, I didn't post it. Did I? Oh, maybe I did.
Yeah, that's how I saw
away.
it.
So that's the only thing that was kind of left over, because I knew that they had something similar to that back in the day, but they really, I told Buster, I'm like, this is weird. Me going there after I'd been there a couple times, and that place, I kid around and say that place was a church for me for so many years when I was a West Coast Choppers disciple. But dude, it was really neat being there. They really have done an amazing job, like fixing that place up. It's cool. It's very cool because you know what it is, right? You know what used to be there. And I got to meet a lot of really cool people. Nick Trask is going to be on the show in 2 weeks. Yep. Next week is Pistol Pete. And then in 3 weeks, we're going to have Rob Bidas on here from the Bagger Racing League. So we've got, dude, the reception that we got by us being out there was very warm. Everybody was really interested in what we were doing. People had heard about what we were doing. So everybody out there that's watching, and we appreciate all of the help that you've given us with sharing the posts and helping out. And that stuff's been awesome. So this has been overwhelming. It was a really, really good trip. I forgot how much I enjoyed California.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So what do we got now?
Was that your first time meeting Buster?
No, I've known Buster for years. I knew Buster back.
I don't think I've ever met him.
He's a great guy.
So I've talked, texted, you know what I mean? Dude, and he's kind of like, he's like Facebook famous. You know what I mean? If there's ever a conversation about seats, you know what I mean? Somehow, somebody tags Buster, he gets in there, you know what I mean? And pimps a Saddleman.
He's their social media guy, but he is. I would have to say that he's their shaman. Like legit, like you can tell, like he's the elder statesman in the room. He keeps everybody level. He keeps everybody, he's kind of, and he talked about that that he's kind of, it's weird for him now because he was so long ago. He was at West Coast Choppers, and then he was gone for so long, and he's been with Saddleman for a very long time.
For a long time.
He said they kind of came to him and said, listen, this is what we're thinking about doing, not, is it okay? But I mean, how do you feel about this? What would you feel about working there and stuff? And so it's definitely, it's really cool to see something like that is for all intents and purposes, chopper history, get repurposed, and it with no foreseeable end in sight. So it was a really good thing. I want to thank Rob Bidas for having me out there, and all the people I got to hang out with and meet and stuff. And so I want to move on. I want to move the chains here. We're going to go to our new product showcase. And when we come back from commercial break, we are going to introduce you to our guest tonight. So live from the Shine Werks Studio, it's Jason and John, Torque Performance Television. Welcome back to Torque Performance Television. I'm Jason Hallman, and for our new product showcase this week, I chose grips from Hartluck and ODI. If you recognize the name ODI, they're one of the most recognizable names in grips. They build a fantastic line of rubber grips for bicycle motocross, and now for the V-twin industry as well. They've got several different styles to choose from and all different price points. The new ones that we chose this week from the Hartluck series are the V-twin lock-on. And here's what's great. You're not gluing your left grip on. There are 2 set screws with an aluminum housing. Really nice quality piece, made of billet aluminum and anodized. And here's the other thing that's great. Your throttle tube's included on fly-by-wire and dual cable systems as well. These grips sell for $69.99. and are available at all independent motorcycle stores. And we also went ahead and chose for $19.99 the ODI Hartluck Moto-inspired rubber grip series. Now these do glue on the left side and require a throttle tube, but ODI has their Fusion throttle tubes that retail for $54.99. Now these are billet, so these are reusable, and they have them in dual cable and fly-by-wire versions as well. So you can get these and the full line of ODI grips at all Drag Specialties dealers. Thank you for watching Torque Performance Television. Have a great week.
Hey guys, Mikkel here from Clockworks. Today I'm going to talk to you about a fantastic cleaning product that we offer called Shine Werks. I usually apply the product on one side of the microfiber towel and usually have a dry side. So kind of like the Karate Kid, you're gonna do a wax on, wax off, clean it with one side, flip it to the dry side. You'll have no streaks left. But Shine Werks is a really great product that cleans and details the entire motorcycle for you. Everybody knows us because of our fantastic Clockworks Flare windshields, but a lot of people didn't know that we also have a great cleaning product. Shine Werks is a cleaning product that will clean and detail the whole bike. Now you can have something that will safely clean and protect the matte finish and also shine the gloss part as well as the windshield and any chrome you have on the motorcycle. Pick up a bottle at your local dealership, give us a call, order it on getclock.com. You can even find us on Amazon Prime now.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
G. Holt of V-Twin Visionary, and we are in Loretta Lynn's Ranch for the Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival. V-Twin Visionary has a show here with Harley Davidson. It's a little bit of everything, but it's all performance, and we're just here making great times and having a ton of fun.
Hey, welcome back to the Shine Werks Studio and Torque Performance Television. John, I forgot to tell you that we have two new sponsors on the show, Metzler Tires and S&S Cycles. So thank you guys very much for joining the Torque Performance Television family and Torque Mag USA. And on the line with us, we have, I dubbed him the king of carbon fiber, and if you don't like it, you can suck it. He's a friend of mine. He's the one that kind of started. He's not the first person to do carbon fiber for a motorcycle, but he is the first person to do carbon fiber at the level that he's producing it. And I'd like everybody to put their hands together and welcome my friend, Mr. Curtis Hofmann from Hofmann Designs. How are you, buddy?
What's happening, guys?
Not much. Thank you for taking time from your busy day and your growing family to spend some time with us here. And we just wanted to, we want to make sure that we get all of our friends in, and especially the guys like you that are innovating and making killer product. And you've had quite a few. The last 2 years have been quite big for you.
Yeah, we've been really busy. It's pretty wild to think of. I don't know, off the wall idea that I had about 5 years ago. And now it's turning my hair gray, which is a good thing. And trying to keep it rolling. We're very, very thankful for what we get to do every day.
Something that I want to make sure that everybody understands, because until you and I became good friends, I didn't know all the pieces apart in this, but this is not something that you ever took lightly. This is not something you ever didn't do as a professional once you started doing it. I know that you have a history back in the early 90s, mid 90s with the lowrider trucks, and you were very heavily involved in that. But you actually worked for and ran the parts department for a very, very large, world famous motorcycle shop, West Coast Choppers. and you've stayed in and around the motorcycle business, and you kind of seemed to came out of nowhere around 2012, 2013. And it was like you had saved up all this information and all these skills and talent, and you just came out swinging.
Yeah, I mean, I just turned 35. I've been doing this my entire life, and I mean, the big thing was, like, long story short, like I'm sure a lot of us is, we work for different places and we see how people do things and what we agree with, what we don't agree with, and that kind of stuff. And it just kind of evolves. And I put 110% into everything I do, and that was kind of the thing. So like 2009 is when I opened up Hofmann Designs. And, there was a lot of ups and downs, and I mean, there's still ups and downs, but, the big thing I like to say is I like to do what other people aren't. And that's what we try and offer to the market. Whether it's, our style of bikes, our style of parts, just our outlook on things is the big thing of, what we do day to day.
And I know John's got a couple things. I just wanted to touch on one other thing before John goes. That you seem to be somebody that I've watched you now we've been good friends for the last couple of years, and prior to that, we kind of orbited in some of the same circles, and we both were doing big wheel bagger stuff. Something that I will always say about you is that you know when to stop doing something, as well as you are innovative in picking something new. And I just wanted you to kind of, how do you craft that in your head?
You know what? I appreciate that, because that's like a huge thing in my mind. And, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like, I like to challenge myself. I don't like to be, repetitious and doing the same thing over and over again. And, the big thing is, it's like, we like to, like I said, we like to test ourselves. We like to make something new. And the first thing I'll say, and I'm the first to say it, is we all went too far. I mean, Pro Streets went too far. Big wheel baggers went too far, and we come back and it's like, okay, let's make something fun again. And that's where, okay, how can I make this fun? How can I make this, different? And, that big gamble when we stopped big wheel baggers cold turkey. And we got a lot of shit for it. And when we did that, it was tough. I mean, there was a few years it's like, oh shit, like, hey, how are we going to pay the shop mortgage? How are we going to, have lunch today and stuff like that? And, I'm the kind of guy that I believe in myself. I believe in what we do. And, it took a few years for what we're doing today to take off. And, that's kind of the thing. It's like, just always testing ourselves. I mean, that's about it.
When did you stop the big wheel? How long ago did you? How long did you put the brakes on that?
I want to say the last full big wheel bagger we did was, I think, the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. So same exact time that I started getting heavily into, I want to make these bikes go faster, harder, stronger, and things like that, and just completely change it, because it got so saturated, so that was our thing. So it's been 5 years since I built a big wheel bagger now.
That's awesome. Now, one of the comments on the side is you'll go far on an FXR, Curtis. Have you done a carbon FXR yet?
So I haven't done a carbon FXR, but I think I sent Jason a picture of an FXR I did for myself back in like 2000. I think it was 13 or 14.
That's the one that was the day that you and I actually met. We were at the same photo shoot. That was in 2016. And I was just sending messages over to John through the comments that Jesse Jurens obtained that from you. And that was what was really cool about that is you built your own side covers, and they were not typical FXR side covers that, especially everybody, it's real easy and it fits and it's a good idea. I'm not besmirching it. You put the Nest side covers on it and it's kind of a done and done. But I remember that very well. It was in Hot Bike. Actually, it was in the same Hot Bike that Cody's was in. There was a full feature on it.
Yeah. So we did. So if that was 16, that means we built that bike, I think, in 14. because I had it for a couple years, and Jesse, he still owns it. And they ride it, they use it for R&D. He's made a few changes to it. He's got their new suspension in it. I just had a picture sent to me the other day of it, and they changed a couple things on it, and otherwise it's still same paint, still same body, same wheels, everything we did. So yeah, he's got it. And to me, that's pretty cool because it's one of those things. I mean, I've used his suspension religiously for over a decade. There it is.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's a sharp bike.
I think it's pretty dope. I've seen that. I didn't know that was yours.
Yep, he's got a 21 on it. He's got the exhaust I have on my lowrider on it. That bike,
I wish they would still make that exhaust. I had that exhaust on a 06 Dyna. I
see, and that was so that if I remember right, they didn't make that for an FXR. We made it fit, and I think we made a bracket for it. And I think we had to modify the pipe a little bit to make that work on there.
Yeah, but it looks really nice on there.
I have rear set mids on my Dyna, and I had to do the same thing. I had to move it out and then move it back, to get it to actually clear the
I think it was a tranny that it was hitting, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I think it was a side cover.
I have a question for you. You mentioned that you quit abruptly, or that you kind of quit the bagger, the big wheel bagger. And one thing I forgot to mention that I wanted to put up here was when you left that scene, you left, I don't know if you realize it or not, but you left with your middle finger in the air. And I don't think that you're a middle finger in the air kind of guy, but you built what I think is arguably one of the coolest motorcycles I've ever seen. And I told everybody this. It was a lay frame shovel head dresser with old bags. Yeah. And there were you, and I'm pretty sure it was your wife, riding around Sturgis on that thing, and just basically shutting down. There was no way for anybody that really knew what they were looking at to give you any kind of hard time or grief over that bike. It was what was well done was what never even was done on that bike.
Well, and I think when you've seen that was when it was just like a ratted out original paint. I think, I brought that to Sturgis 16. Yeah. It was lay frame, 23-inch wheels, just spoke, but all the whole entire stock body, everything. Just, short stock bags. Everything on the thing, just rotted out bike. And that was one of those, it was just kind of, that was my, I'm done with the 30-inch wheels. I'm done with 26-inch wheels. I'm done with, 4-foot long bags. And I'll be the first to admit, there is still nothing that, compares to a slick, stretched out lay frame, stretched out bagger. It's kind of like, a Merc lead sled car. You can't deny how sexy those things look laid on the ground, but do you want to drive a Merc lead sled every single day?
Not at all.
It's, that's how I look at it. I still think they're beautiful bikes, but the practicality of it wasn't there. And, that was kind of that time where my time was getting more valuable. And, I just wanted to hop on and ride fast. I was tired of, messing with air ride, messing with center stands, making sure I wasn't dragging the bags, making sure that I wasn't hitting the, looking 3 feet behind me to make sure that when I backed the bike in, I didn't hit the curb, or, it just so many things about it that it took the fun out of riding with something like that. So that's where I just went. I'm like, I want to go the exact opposite, where I literally just hit the switch and go, So that was kind of that calling. And then actually that same bike that was all rotted and ratted out, just leaking oil, pissing oil out of it. That same winter after Sturgis, I ripped it down. I completely rebuilt it into a full on polished out show bike.
Was that the one that ended up being blue?
That was, what's that?
Is that the one that you painted blue with the patina?
No, it was black and gold.
Yeah, I remember the black and gold one. When you said you repainted it, I wonder if it.
So that was a different. So I actually still have the patina one.
Wow. Curtis, do you see the comment on the side from Jace? The first time he ever spoke to you was about that bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he just commented on the side. The first time Jason.
So that right there, that is how it finished. And then, but when I rode it to Sturgis the first time, it was that same bike, but it was white and gray, and it was just ratty. I mean, it was all stock, but it was 40 years old almost, just all stock.
Now, have you ever sold a bike, saw it a year, 2 years later, and go, what the fuck did you do to it? Have you ever had that experience where you're like The Godfather, what did they do to my boy?
Honestly, the one thing I can say is we were very, very, when we were building a lot of big wheel baggers and stuff, we were very fortunate that we didn't build a lot of them. And one thing I am very, very proud of is that you can't hop on eBay and find one of our old bikes. You can't find it on Facebook Marketplace. You can't find it on Craigslist or anything like that. I mean, the guys we built the bikes for, I would honestly say a solid 90% still own all the bikes we built. So like that bike right there, that bike's up in Canada. So, that is probably one of the things I'm most proud of, is that when people had us build a bike or bought a bike from us, they still have it. Kind of case in point, like the very first, dabble of a spec bike I did for Performance Bagger, that I did back at the end of 2015, brought it to Daytona 2016, and a guy out of Ohio by the name of Mike bought it. And he actually still has it. He still has it. He still loves it. He still rides the shit out of it. He's going to the campouts with it. He's living it up with that bike. And, he was kind of on the fence buying it. Like, his buddies were trying to talk him into, a little bit of a big wheel or, stretch bags a little bit and things like that. And he's like, and I told him, I said, man, like, I can't predict the future, but I'm telling you, like, this is where I'm going with this. This is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to push. And he was all about it. And he, like I said, he still has it. He just went and did the camp out a few weeks ago with it again.
I got one last question before I kick it back to Jason. Do you still have the Indian Challenger in your showroom? And are you doing anything with that? You don't? All right. All right, Jason, you're up.
This seems like there's more to that than meets the eye. So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit and start talking about your product line. So you took on a big challenge, engineering wise. You took on a big expense as far as scaling things up to try to not only produce carbon fiber parts, but to produce the highest quality carbon fiber parts on the market. And how many SKUs do you have now? How many different part numbers?
Well, let's see. Probably in carbon about 30.
Okay. And is there a way for you to, like, if someone comes to you and says, hey, listen, I want to make, they pick something, and the doors that go on the road glide fairing, for instance, let's say that, where do you know in your head, like, okay, I know where my part or my parts piece number would be where I could start making money, where it's worth it. I mean, obviously, these things have to be done. I know that they're built. You and I have talked ad nauseum about quality control, and I know your products are built with a lot of quality and a lot of workmanship put into it. But is there a point where you're like, you know what, if I can sell X number of something, then this could be a winner?
Yeah, I mean, there is. And, right now, the biggest thing for us is, and we're fully aware of it, we're battling it literally all day, every day, is the back orders. So right now, introducing new products is really tough. But we do have some plans in the works. We've got some things basically in motion already, that we're working on, some changes and things like that, where we can start, getting some new products out. We have released some new kind of recently. We did our gas tank skins, which ultimately is our only non-functioning. It is purely cosmetic at that point, but it is something that a lot of people ask for, and I asked for myself, just for the fact of finishing the look. So if you've got a road glide now, you don't need to put paint on it anywhere. We can deck your bike out top to bottom, front to back, full carbon. And, we actually tried working with making an actual gas tank. And basically the bottom line is two things. Cost would be very expensive. And the second thing is liability. It just the two things that are not there. And we build for the guys riding on the street. That's our main guy. And the last thing we want to do is give somebody a problem. Can we do it? Yeah, we could do it, but it wasn't realistic to do it. So that's kind of one of those things. But unfortunately, right now we've got to be realistic in the fact of there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline of new products coming, but we also have to make sure we are addressing all of our back order concerns already. So with that being said, it's we're trying.
Curtis, the back orders, everybody's got that right now. So that's not, you know what I mean? You go to order anything at this point, everybody's in that boat right now. So customers are learning to understand that a little bit. Trying anyway.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, when it comes to like the back order, like the one thing I tell people is, and I don't want a back order at all. I don't think any of us do. Yeah. Let's be honest. But right now, I'm the first to say we're realists, and right now we're running 8 to 10 weeks, for orders. Yeah. Well, the way I look at that is we're building handmade Class A finished parts that you can't blem. If it has a blem, we have to scrap it. We can't fix it like it's fiberglass. We can't fix it if it's plastic. We can't fix it if it's metal. So we're running 8 to 10 weeks on hand-built custom motorcycle parts, where I know for a fact there's wheel manufacturers, motor manufacturers, and things like that are running 12, 14, 16, 18 weeks for parts that basically... What's that?
They're still saying 6.
Right. And don't take this wrong whatsoever, because it's still an art form and things like that, but it's spit out of a CNC machine. That's a whole different ballgame. So when I know what our lead times are and I see what some other companies are, I'm very, very, very proud at our lead times that we're producing hand-built motorcycle parts in the USA, let alone in small town Minnesota, with less lead time than a machine shop. So as crazy as it sounds, we're actually proud of our back order times right now.
Yeah. Curtis, there's a question popped up on the side there, looking for late model parts. Is that a possibility or not at this time? What do you think?
Pretty much everything we do is late model parts. Early model stuff, if that's what they mean, we've got some early model parts coming. That is basically our queue right now is early model parts like your skinny tire bagger, your 08 and earlier is what we're working on now. It's going to take a little bit of time, but that is what's being generated right now.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier, new parts are in the pipeline. Any teasers you want to put out there for the guys watching? Some guys are sweating these new parts.
Early model bagger parts is what's in the works.
All right.
So we've got early model bagger parts in the works, and then a few other
guys
things
are running to the bank right now.
What's that?
They're running to the bank right now.
We got Snap Finance stuff.
So yeah, we're working on early model parts, and then we've got a few other things that are very, very, very early in R&D, and that we want to come out with.
Dyna fender, red carbon Dyna fender.
That's one of the that's one thing I do want to touch on is we don't like Jason was saying earlier, we don't take this lightly in the fact of we R&D'd for over a year before our products hit the market over 4 years ago. So that is one thing. We R&D it, we test it, we work with, we send products out to some of our really good vendors and friends and things like that, that will test parts out. They'll test fitment, they'll go thrash on it and things like that. Basically because I don't have the time to do it. We'll test it, but obviously we're biased when it comes to, that stuff. And, we want to get the stuff in hands of different people. And so there's a lot of that stuff that goes on that, we were fortunate to do that for a lot of different companies when, we weren't a parts manufacturer and we were a bike builder more, full time. We did that with a lot of people's, products too, where they'd send us, hey, can you test this out? Hey, can you do fitment? Hey, can you go thrash this on one of your bikes? and, you know, and give us feedback. So, you know, the roles have kind of reversed a little bit. So, you know, we take everything we've learned every day and we apply it to what we do every day.
What do you want? What do you want people to know? Like we talk all the time in our sales meetings and all the stuff when we do the show prep. And we want to make sure that we want to address the people on the fringes, right? The guys that are really hardcore and that build their own bikes and that maybe race them and stuff too, and do track days. But you know, we want to focus on largely on the middle of the road people, the people that have really nice bikes and take all their hard-earned money, spend all their extra time to invest in their bike to have something nice that's different than someone else. And we call that our 65% model, right? And so what do you want folks to know? If you could, you know, tell somebody an elevator speech, if you're in an elevator with someone and they're like, what do you do? And you tell them, and what is Hofmann Designs? Like, what is your credo? We
like building cool shit for cool people. I mean, that's really the basis of it. I mean, it's, you know, one of the coolest feelings in the world is like, you know, cause I do the same thing when I'm building something for myself. Like I want the coolest thing. I want the, you know, that style. And, you know, I work my ass off just like we all do. And, you know, the coolest thing is like connecting with the customers and connecting with the riders. And, you know, we're the first to say, I mean, I say it day in and day out, like we can't do this without the support from the people, you know, buying our products, running our products, sharing our, you know, sharing everything on social media. And we do, I mean, we do this, you know, for them. And, you know, it's a hugely humbling feeling when you get to an event and, you know, somebody wants to talk to you and they want to show you your bike, or, I mean, you know, on our social media, when people will send in like, you know, send their pictures in, hey man, I got your parts, love it. And they send pictures of their bike and it's just super cool. I mean, you know, it's a whole different feeling than when we were building bikes where, okay, we spent, you know, a year building a bike for one guy. And he's over the moon about it. But I mean, you get, you know, and there's a whole different dynamic, but that's a whole different deal. But these guys are just so excited. And that's what, you know, gives me the motivation to keep doing it every day is, you know, wanting to produce new product, wanting to get this product into their hands, wanting to see them out there riding it, wanting to see them have fun with their friends. It's just a super, super cool feeling that, I mean, we definitely can't do what we do without our support.
So I want to get you to, make sure that people know where they can find you. And your website is hoffmandesigns.com with 2 N's, right?
Yeah.
And then
yep.
Your Instagram handle is Hofmann Designs. And so is your Facebook. And there's plenty of information on there. We've got some new product coming down the pipeline. You're obviously going to be at Sturgis, and we're going to see you around town there that weekend or that week. I'm hoping that you can make it to the Torque Performance Party on Tuesday at the Steel Pony Campground when we launch our inaugural issue of the Torque Performance magazine, Torque Mag USA. And anything else that you'd like to let anybody know, man?
Yeah, I mean, definitely gratefully appreciate it. And, you know, we'll be out. We'll be set up at Sturgis. We'll be set up at Rapid City Harley, Black Hills Harley. Okay. So we'll be set up there. We'll have product on display. We'll have some new bikes on display, you know, come out, have fun, you know, things like that. We are going to go over we're going to ride to Salt Lake City for the Bagger Racing League. So Brian Clark called me the other day. We're going to we're going to meet up with them, do kind of us and them and do a ride out to Salt Lake City. So that'll actually get me out of the shop and ride, because it's been a while since I've got to ride across the country. So that'll be a good time. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to kind of, you know, work and basically gear up for Sturgis and things like that. It's crazy to think that that's only less than 3 months away now.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, Curtis, my friend, thank you very much for this whole last year and all the stuff we got to do together. And thank you for being on the show this evening. And we're going to wrap up with that. And we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to come back with Mark Matthews from Texas Performance MC.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take it easy, Curtis. Thanks for coming on.
See you guys. Yeah, absolutely.
The Fueling name has been associated with racing and high-performance engines since 1974, when founder Jim Fueling started fueling the flames. From Daytona to Monaco, from the Bonneville Salt Flats to the Indy 500. Fueling is here to compete. Look for the Flying Pig to run up front this year with pilot Ben Bosman. Fueling. No bullshit, just performance.
This is Danny Wilson. You're watching Torque Performance Television.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Hallman from Torque Performance Television. I'm here with the Motorwitch, Danny Wilson, and the Alloy Art Machine. We were talking a little bit about, this has got your cylinders on it. You actually built this entire engine from the ground up, right?
Yeah, as far as the design of the cylinders and all that go, correct. I designed the cylinders, the piston is my design, so sleeves, all that stuff.
And these are the leading edge. These are the same cylinders, though, that you would buy right from you, right?
Correct, yeah, these are definitely publicly available. This is not some special one-off kit that we did for the Alloy Art bike. This is one of the bolt-on kits, so it makes a 4.5-inch stroke, a 1.0. It takes it from 114 to 129.
Okay, and so you have it in. I've been kind of following you, over the last couple of years since you brought the cylinders out, and you have a kit for the 107 that takes it up to 125, right? Yep. It's a little bit more than the 124s. Yep. And then does your kit too? I mean, I know that somebody can send you their engine and kind of get the whole thing done, right?
Yes.
But you also kind of, you pick the camshaft and help people with that too.
Right,
what are the levels of the leading edge performance kits?
So right now, what's readily available, we've got the bolt-on kit to make a 125, we've got a bolt-on kit to make a 129, and we've got a kit that'll convert either of them into a 131 with a crank.
What I want everybody to kind of take away from this thing that's going into BRL, like I was talking earlier, a year and a half ago they kind of started talking about this, and then all the smack talking started online where this is the dumbest thing they ever heard of, and then some of the most prominent people in our industry said that it was the craziest thing they had ever heard of. Right. And then now you have these bikes, there's 8 bikes in here that are all competitive bikes, and they're all making big horsepower, and they basically put these things on a diet. What did they not do to these things? Like, you're pretty intimately involved in these. These have the stock frame, right? Stock geometry.
Yeah, the frames are essentially unmolested. Basically, it's just a matter of weight being shaved and suspension being upgraded. On the Alloy Art bike, we've got a lot of supplemental oil coolers, trying to keep the temps down since they're running them so hard. I mean, obviously, these weren't intended to be put on a racetrack out of the box.
Well, so they say, and now we're proving that wrong, right? Guys like you.
So now, we're trying to find loopholes in ways to maintain everything as stock as possible, but still drop oil temperatures, make it so that we can put them on the track and just beat them to death and have them stay together.
What's a good oil temperature? That's something that someone at home, a lot of people have an oil temperature gauge on there, right? Where do you want to keep it around?
Oil temperatures kind of fluctuate. I'm in Phoenix. I really concern myself more with head temps. I mean, like in Phoenix in the summertime when it's 115 and you're riding on the freeway, I mean, you see head temps stay like high 2s, low 3s, you know, when you're running 80 down the interstate, it's 115 outside. You know, this one on the track yesterday was up at like 338. Which is a little hot, but it's not brake shit hot. So it's you know, it's still runnable.
Are you guys playing with different types of oils and different types of, you know, do you use an ester-based oil or do you use a category 4 oil?
I actually personally in my personal stuff, I use conventional oil because I change my oil all the time.
Right.
I'm also not racing the bike.
Sure.
You know, I'm on the road. So these guys are running a full synthetic, trying to keep the temps down and whatnot. This bike's done really well, all things considered. And the cylinder design helps keep the combustion chamber temps down, and it keeps the cylinder itself cooler than a stock design does.
Yeah, because when those came out, a lot of people were like instantly like, well, don't you need more fins to keep it cool?
Yeah,
no, you have actually more surface area, to dissipate the heat.
Yeah, the Hate Factory was full send when I launched those. I mean, it is obviously a vast departure. The biggest difference is that cylinder actually ends up being an active cooling system when the motorcycle's in motion. So the air passing over the cylinder becomes turbulent. The turbulent air extracts the heat out of the base material. Whereas with a traditional design, the cylinders dissipate heat, and then the air that's passing by is simply pushing away dissipated heat.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's like simple physics, but not simple physics.
Right, yeah. It's basically just the product of an airflow study that I converted into a motorcycle cylinder. Really.
Awesome. Well, cool. This is Danny Wilson he's the Motorwitch from Leading Edge HP. What is the site that they can follow you at?
Best way is following on Instagram with Motorwitch and Leading Edge HP, and then the website is leadingedgehp.com.
Cool, man. I appreciate your time.
Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mark with Texas Performance Motorcycles, and we're back for this week's Tech Tips on Torque Performance Television. We're going to go over just some basics about how to clean your chain, some of the tools and products we use, and some of the reasons you might want to upgrade your bike to a chain drive. So here's the basics of what we use to clean a chain. We use three components here. We use a brake clean, which is what we get our initial clean with. We have a brush, a chain brush. These are great for getting dirt and gunk out. Then we have a specialty chain cleaner that's designed to not harm the O-rings. And then finally our chain lube. And we'll show you how we apply all those things. But first, we kind of want to go over the reason someone's going to want a chain drive. So there's a lot of different reasons. The most popular reason is it just looks good. Everybody wants a bike with a gold chain or a red chain or a blue chain, and it always looks cool. But there are some actual benefits to having a chain. And if you saw our previous video on suspension, you'll know that with a taller suspension, a chain drive can adapt to having a looser chain setting because of suspension height much better than a belt drive. So if you have a tall suspension, having a chain can help in those sort of situations. Another thing is gear ratios. It's a lot easier to change your gear ratios with a chain drive. It's a lot easier to swap, put a new chain on, have a couple sets of chains and sprockets, so that way if you're, depending on what you're doing, you can modify where you want your engine RPM for a given speed. And then third is just the snappiness of the throttle. So a chain has a lot less stretch under tension. So a belt, even though it's got Kevlar cords in there, they still have some stretch and some give. A chain is much stouter, so you're gonna feel a lot snappier throttle response when you're on the throttle and off the throttle with a chain than a belt drive. And then we'll go ahead and walk over to the bike here and show you guys exactly how we clean these chains. All right guys, so we have our friend's 2016 Lowrider S here that we're gonna go ahead and clean this chain on. The first step is we always use brake clean, just to try and get all the big dirt. This chain's been run in the rain. It's got a little bit of rust. It's got a whole bunch of dirt. So what we do is we've got the rear wheel off the ground. The bike's in neutral so we can spin the tire. And what we're gonna do is I like to spin the tire kind of in the opposite direction of rotation. It's just easier being a one man and holding the wheel. But I'll spin it and we're just gonna spray a bunch of brake clean in here and just try and get as much crap out as we can. We're gonna keep spraying it and rotating it, and then we're gonna take our chain brush. We're gonna go ahead and shove it on. We're gonna put it on the bottom side first, And it doesn't matter what order you do it in, you just want to get all the sides. We do the bottom side first, and we'll do the top side. Go ahead and spin it. You want to make sure you're getting at least one full rotation every time, maybe 2 or 3. It just kind of depends on how dirty the chain is. And then we're going to spray it again. You can see all the crap that's coming out of this chain just from the brake clean. And then we're going to go ahead and keep repeating that until we're kind of happy with how little stuff's coming out. So now that we sprayed it with brake clean, I just use a little bit of compressed air just to go ahead and speed the drying process up. One thing I will mention, the brake clean that we're using is a non-chlorinated and safe for O-rings. So you need to make sure whatever brake clean you're using is not going to deteriorate the O-rings in your chain. We use, I think it's Brake Max by Zepp, but any non-chlorinated brake clean that's safe for rubber will work just fine. But I'm just going to take a little compressed air and just kind of blow this stuff out that needs to dry. And you can already see how much stuff has come out of this chain. This is a clean pan when we started. We're still not done cleaning it, and there's still more that will come out. Okay, guys, so the chain's clean now, and as you can see, we've got, I mean, this is everything that's come out just in this little pan. Plus there's stuff all over the roof. Cleaned a lot of the dirt and the grime out. The last step is to go ahead and apply some new lube. We like to use this Motul chain lube, but any good sort of street chain lube is gonna work. And what you're gonna focus on when we're spraying this is we're gonna try and spray right here between these links. So we try and get in, you know, you wanna hit, this is where the O-rings are and the rollers. So we're gonna start, it's basically the same exact procedure as when you're spraying the chain cleaners, where we're gonna spray this chain lube now. So we're gonna spray it down into the crack between the inner and outer chain, right where the O-rings are on the outside and on the inside. Just make sure you get at least one full rotation, and then we're gonna spray the rollers. And then the last step that I like to do is I'll take another rag, this one's specifically for chain lube, and I'll just apply a little bit on the rag here, and then I'll use that with some upward pressure just to really spin those rollers as you're spinning the wheel over and clean up any excess lube that's on it and apply a little bit of lube to those rollers while you're rotating it around. And that's how we like to clean and lube chains here at Texas Performance Motorcycles. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Texas Performance MC. Don't forget to follow Torque Performance Television at Torque Mag USA, and we'll see you next week, Thursday at 9 p.m. Thank y'all.
He makes everything seem so
super easy.
He's like a surgeon. I love watching his tech videos. He's fantastic, and I can't thank him enough for being part of our team here. He's really a great guy. So it is
people miss how critical that is.
No, it's very critical.
There's so many. We sell a ton of chain kits, and it's wild that people get them. You know what I mean? And don't do anything with them.
Yep.
I mean, chain is high maintenance. That's high performance, high maintenance.
Yep. Do you know what time it is?
I hope it is. Is it?
So I've got 4 videos that I think are fantastic, and we're changing the format a little bit here.
Sounds good.
We're going to change the format a little bit. We're going to show the videos with whoever posted them. So remember, if you want to see your video, or if you find a video that you think we need to see, you need to repost it, and you need to use the hashtag #TorqueTheGram. So I'm going to go with the first one. I call this one "They See Me Rolling." These guys go hard. So if you want to follow this page, it is at Motor Harley Davidson Cycles. So that was those guys are crazy. Yeah, those guys aren't playing around. So
they're shredding that rear.
Dude, it's so funny to me when I see how many videos are out there and how many people are riding their bikes like that. And I thought, and I don't mean that I thought I was the only person doing it, but I've always ridden like an idiot, And I've always thought I love doing rolling burnout stuff. When Chris was here, we were doing some B-roll filming back after Daytona, and I must have done 100 of them in front of the shop. That he's got a bunch of video of me being a moron too. So here's the next one. I think this one I think I called this one Burnout Gone Wrong. He's got it going a little bit, right? He's getting a little sideways, and we go all the way sideways.
He's going.
Bro, you can see his mufflers. That's the funniest part to me. Watch when he goes down. He's got them old Reinhardts on there. He's getting down, right? He's having a good time. Everything's good. Not so good.
Not
So I
so
was
good.
interested, and then suddenly I was skeptical.
Dude, he was so confident going into it.
So
He was so confident. He had it. You know, in his head, he had it.
Oh, dude, he had it. Can you imagine everybody looking at that? I got to get we got to get Dan Toast on here and see if we can get him to do some burnout videos for us on his FTR. So I'm hoping that this is the one that I wanted everybody to see. That this one I call coming in hot. I watched this video about 9 minutes on repeat, and I couldn't stop laughing, man. I just couldn't stop laughing. Here it is. Look at.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, listen. Can we play that 2 more times, please? I want to hear that.
The noise. Not good.
Bro,
Not good.
the knocking the wind out. Oh.
Dude. That's great. That is funny.
I think we got one more in here too, Chris. Let's see. I think this one is this was the They See Me Rolling, actually. I think this one, this is fast. Look at this. Watch.
Yeah.
This is what's amazing to me. Like where and look, and he just peels off, dude. Zero care, zero. What do they say? No F's given. Just we ran out a long time ago, dude. I love the bravado. I love the brazen, the brazen, unwantingly dangerous. So, we did it, man. We had episode 5 is in the can, right? We can say that now, right? I want to thank Mr. Curtis Hofmann. I want to thank Danny Wilson, the Motorwitch. I want to thank everybody that we saw over here checking out in the comments. Dan Toast, Jace Hudson, my mom, Sally Hallman. Thank you for watching.
This time I know it's your mom.
Right? Yeah. And I want to thank our new sponsors, S&S Cycle and Metzler Tire. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Brian Clock. It was wonderful to meet you and your family this weekend, sir. And we are signing off from the Shine Werks Studio. John, have a good week. Have a good weekend. Everybody have a safe Memorial Day. We love you.
Make sure you check back next Thursday.
Yes.
9 p.m. Take it easy.
Sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.